Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day. A click I know posted on Facebook friendship test post something that I love. I also commented with drama. Who the hell cares? This guy's very talkative. Todd, in his get over it and move on. Holy shit. Says, I didn't even understand what you wrote there in chat. I'm grumpy today, guys. I haven't had my coffee yet. But this guy, apart from posting nonsense in the chat, is going to have a great game. I was reading the comments on a video I did a little while. So, I actually read your comments, guys. If you leave comments, I read them. I don't always reply, because that would be too much. Too much for just one man. But I sometimes reply. I did a video a little while ago called Nobody Knows What the Fuck is Going On. Has it been 30 seconds? Damn it. I think this video is going to get demonetized. Because I said the word fuck before the 30-second. I might have to roll an intro before I start. STRV, your real name wouldn't happen to be Heather. This guy's heartbroken. The poor guy had a bad experience on Facebook with some potential honey, and he's, now you're in your basement playing World of Tanks again. That'll cheer you up. Let me find the comment here, guys. You guys watch this game here. Yeah, it was called Nobody Knows What the Fuck is Going On. And all right, here's the comment. Should I post it on the screen? And in the video, I was talking about how do you know the spaceship that we sent to the moon recently? It's about a month ago. It was a big tall cylinder. And I explained how that's a stupid design because it's going to fall over. And lo and behold, when it landed there, as it's coming down, it comes down, but it's also moving sideways as it's circling the moon. And it went down and it hit the ground and it fell over. So now, they're out of luck. This multi-billion-dollar thing is lying on its side, wasting money. Then there was another instance where they tried to land some probe on Mars, I think, and it was going to scurry around Mars for decades from solar power, right? But they made the mistake of landing in the shade, in a spot that's shady all the time because the sun and the angle and where they were. So it was shady, and they said, oh, we landed in the shade. How far to get to a sunny spot? 600 miles. And then they tried to get to the sunny spot, but they ran out of power. And just ridiculous, stupid mistakes. Or the other one that they tried to land, and the guy that was figuring out the calculation of how close to the ground they were was doing it in feet instead of meters. And of course, 3 feet is a lot closer to the ground than 3 meters. Smack! And so I said, well, we've got so much technology and so many computer chips and stuff that we know everything these days, but we can't do anything. Seems like everything we do, we fail. And then we say it was successful. We successfully reached the moon, but you crashed. So I was reading the comments on that video. You guys watch that video? If you haven't seen it, go back and watch. I was grumpy on that video too. This is the comment by Dean Weiss 6836. Thanks for watching the video and thanks for commenting. But this is your comment. Claus, if we can't land an unmanned probe on the moon today, what makes you think we actually landed 6 times in the 60s and 70s? Implying, of course, that he does not believe that we ever landed on the moon. And his point is, well, if we can't do it now with all the million times more technology, what makes you believe we did it then? 6 times. And actually, one time that we failed, Apollo 13, we got halfway there, and there was a short circuit, and everything went wrong, and we still managed to fix things and make a carbon dioxide scrubber with some masking tape and a toothbrush, and like Tom Hanks did in that movie, and they were able to come back home. Now so he's implying that it's obvious that that's all fake, which is this is the typical way conspiracy theories start, right? People that don't really understand things try and mentally work it out themselves. And then, if you can't understand something, you just don't believe it. And it's true. I think that we probably couldn't do it now. If we tried to go to the moon now, I said in that video, we probably fail, because we can make a ship that's 100 times more complicated, with a billion times more computing power and computer, but something would break. There'd be a glitch. There's something would go wrong, and we wouldn't know how to fix it. The whole point is, as everything gets more technologically advanced, and I think I used electric cars and things, whenever something breaks now, we can't fix it. Why? Because things are more complicated and more high-tech now. But all the university students and smart people want to get the high-paying jobs as the engineers designing the stuff, or working for the computer chip companies, making a lot of money. But one of those things breaks down, the high school dropout that has to work at a gas station for minimum wage, he doesn't know how to fix the computer chip. He goes, it's broken. Call the car company and get a new one, because they don't know how to fix it. Because they're not going to pay mechanics and technicians $300,000 a year so that they understand and know how to. Who's going to fix the broken rocket? So your comment there, Dean Weiss 6836. If we can't do it now, how could we possibly have done it then? The lunar landing was fake. Well, buddy, Dean, let me try and explain it for you, okay? Simply. Let me just try and explain. Let's assume, I'm just going to make some assumptions here. You don't believe we landed on the moon. You're probably an older guy. You're probably 60 years old. I'm just going to guess, okay? And I'm probably pretty close. Plus or minus 5, you're 55 to 65, somewhere in there, that age range. So let me ask you a question. If you can't run 100 meters in 15 seconds now, in fact, if you probably do, you'll run out of breath and fall over and bump your head and need to lie down for a couple of hours. If you can't do it now, what makes you think you could have done it when you were 18 years old? And you're probably thinking, well, no, I could run pretty fast when I was 18, but I can't anymore. Just because you can't do something now doesn't mean you couldn't do it 20 years ago. And how do I know that we landed on the moon? How does everyone know except people that... I have a cousin that doesn't believe we landed on the moon. Actually, I have two cousins. They're brothers. One of them does not believe we landed on the moon. And his reason that he does not believe we landed on the moon, he says, well, I saw it on the internet. It was on Facebook. They had... Someone found a picture that they took on the moon, and there was a mouse in the picture. I go, what do you mean there was a mouse on the picture? Yeah, there was a mouse in the picture. They have all these pictures that they took on the moon, and one of them there's a mouse. They forgot to get rid of the mouse. It's a shadow, you idiot. He doesn't believe we landed on the moon because he thinks one of the pictures they took from the moon has a mouse on it. That's one brother. And then the other brother believes that we are right now occupied and being controlled by aliens. I'm not kidding. I talked to him a little while ago, and he was explaining it to me. Did you know that there was a cave? There is a cave somewhere in the southeastern part of South America, and in that cave, if you go through this passageway, there's a chamber, and the chamber is an exact, perfect cube. It's 10 meters by 10 meters by 10 meters, exactly, measured to the micrometer. And the walls of this cube are perfectly straight, and the angles are exactly 90 degrees. And the technology of today is not capable of doing that. So what does that tell you? And, the correct answer is, well, thanks for the conversation, but I have to leave now. I'm wanted back on planet Earth. He believes that we are being controlled by aliens. So that's the dynamic range. This is my family. Now, guys, we did land on the moon. All right. What's your name again? Dean. Dean. Yes, we did. How do I know? Well, I didn't personally go there. I don't personally know Neil Armstrong. But there was a group of people that helped get to the moon. by working at NASA and working at the companies that manufactured the rockets and the equipment and all the technology. If you add up all the people that were involved, that were working at NASA and working at the support network, and including the people that went there and the technicians and the engineers, if you add all of the people that were involved in that project, it comes out to something like 500,000 people. And if they didn't actually go, if it was all a hoax, then I guess 500,000 people were all in on it to fool you. 60 years later, that was their plan. Their plan was, hey, if we could get 500,000 people together, including the 2 presidents of the U.S., we could pull this pretty good hoax. 60 years from now, Dean will trick him into believing we went to the moon. But Dean's too smart. He caught us. He's figured it out. Dean. The people watched the rocket blast off on Earth in Florida. Was it in Cape Canaveral? Yeah. They saw it. It was really loud, and there was lots of fire came out, and they watched it go up in the sky and get smaller and smaller and smaller, and turn and head this until they couldn't see it anymore because it was higher than any plane had ever gone. And then they had cameras and TVs and video on it, and they actually filmed themselves on the moon that we watched on TV. And then the guys that went there, they actually picked up some rocks and things and brought them back. And, you know, the scientists looked at those rocks and said, wow, these rocks they're not on Earth. These are lunar rocks. They have different properties. And the guys that went there talked about it after they got back. You know, like that Neil Armstrong guy. It's just like... you know, when Christopher Columbus went across the ocean and bumped into land, he was trying to go around the world, but he bumped into land, and then he goes, oh, what are we going to... I'll go back now. And he went back. When he went back, when he arrived, they said, hey, Chris, where'd you go? He goes, I don't know. I went all the way west that way, and then there's this land over there. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. So the guys that actually went and came back, they told us that they were there. They said, yeah, we were there. It was dark, and then it was really light, depending if you're in the shade or not, and there was no air or water, and we could jump around because the gravity wasn't as strong. It was only a third the gravity, so I could jump higher. There's lots of rocks and dust. Whatever. So Dean, thanks for the comment. I don't know how these... you guys let me know in the comments. What things do you not believe? Because let's get the conspiracy theories going in the comments. Oh, look at that. Is it almost over, this game? I think we missed the game. We might as well concentrate on the game for a minute here, because this guy's having a pretty good game. And he's going to acquire the target and then just snap him. There you go. Hey, one of your gas tanks ruptured. Todd, you aced your tank. Pretty good game. We missed it, but hey, it was pretty good. So let me know your conspiracy theories in the comments today. I think it would be entertaining for those of you who could share what you believe is a hoax or fake. Right? Like if you do not believe we've ever landed on the moon, leave a comment. I want to give a little explanation. Or perhaps there's some of you that do not believe that the Earth is a sphere. So there's probably some people that believe the Earth is flat that are watching. And I'm not not criticizing you for your belief. You are allowed to believe whatever you want. You're wrong, but you are allowed to believe whatever you want. And so I'd be interested in if you have some ideas of what you believe is fake. to put it in the comments and give a little explanation. And then maybe I'll feature some of the best comments on the next video. I'll try and respond, respectfully respond. Usually the comments are when something is, people believe something is fake. Usually the reason is, or the discussion goes something like, they want you to believe this, but it's not true. But they never tell you who they is. They want you to believe we landed on the moon, but we actually did. Who wants? I mean, most of the guys are dead. That was 60 years ago. Who is they that want you to believe it? But they can't answer that, right? Well, those guys that are trying to fool you. What's the motivation? Like, here's a question: if you're a flat earther, that's what they call people that do not believe that the Earth is a sphere. I guess there are people that actually believe. I got a Marty hair in my mouth. There's some people that believe the Earth is flat. You're wrong. It's a sphere, close to us. Not exactly a sphere, but it. If you started walking west, and you kept walking west till you got to the ocean, you got in a canoe, and you kept paddling west until you got to land again, and then you kept walking west, and then you got to another ocean, you got in a canoe, you kept going west. After a year or so, you'd get back to where you started. You could prove to yourself that the Earth is not flat, but you're incapable of it because it's a fairly big sphere compared to your size, and you'd never be able to go all the way around yourself, right? And if you get in a plane and you go all the way around, you could say they faked it. The plane didn't actually go around; it just flew around a little circle upside and landed in the same spot. They want me to believe that it's a sphere. Like, you can't convince them with planes or satellites or technology because that's all fake. So if you are a flat earther, start walking west. And within 2 or 3 years, you'll prove to yourself that the Earth is pretty much a sphere. So that's how it works. But the usual explanation is they want to fool you. They have some sort of motivation. What would be the motivation? This is a question for you guys. What would be the motivation for they to try and fool you into believing that the Earth is a sphere? If you're a flat earther, why would they want you to believe that the Earth... What do they gain by making you believe that the Earth is not flat? What's their motive? What is their method operandi? Like, if you are, believe that it's such a conspiracy and they're out to get you, and they know that the Earth is flat, but they're trying to make us think that it's what would be their motivation? What would be the motivation for trying to fake the moon landing? Why would they want to be tricking you? Why would JFK start it at all? We choose to go to the moon and the other things, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. What would have motivated him to want to go there? To fool you. Because 60 years from now, there will be a commenter on something that they will call the interweb, on a Klaus Kellerman video, who will dispute our greatness. Do you believe that John F. Kennedy set out to fool you? 60. What is the guy's name? Where's the comment? Dean? Do you think that was his motive? He was in the White House one day and he said, I just looked at my crystal ball and I believe that 64 years from now, there will be this U.S. citizen. His name is Dean. And I want to fool him. So let's set the plan in motion. And then he kind of got 780,000 people together to fool you. And so now we have private... We got Elon Musk going up into space. And we got that other guy. What's the... Balzano? The bald guy. He's going into space. But did you know that even his things go... He is not... going into space like NASA went to space, like how trivial the exercise that he's doing. Let me some real stuff here. No comedy. When you go to the moon, when a rocket, it was very difficult to actually figure out because the rocket launches vertically. But when it's going up vertically, it is going up, but the Earth is rotating, so it's got the same speed as the rotation of the Earth as it goes up. It will just keep going straight. If you draw a line from the center of the Earth, a radius, that rocket's following that radius. You won't get to the moon. You'll miss. So what the rocket had to do was turn on its side and bend, and it starts going sideways. And you're wondering, why does it do that? Why the moon's over there? Why is it bending in the sky? Because it has to bend and achieve enough velocity. The more and more velocity it achieves, the farther and farther it gets from the mass it's circling, and it's imparting momentum and speed so that it's on a trajectory that will set up an orbit around the Earth. If you just go straight up, you don't go into orbit. So these rockets that Jeff Balzo, or whatever his name is and you're going to get in when you're going to pay $1 million to go to space in one of these rockets. All they do is they go straight up, and they go up far enough that they go into space so that you feel weightlessness. And then the rocket stops propelling itself, and you're like flying in there. Oh, I spent $1 million so that I can feel weightless. And then the rocket falls straight down, and it lands pretty much where it took off from. Depending on wind and a little bit of air. It doesn't go into orbit. You can't even put it in orbit because it's complicated to go in orbit. So these private citizens going into space, that's what you're doing. You're just like might as well take ping, you go straight up and straight down. And you're not even going into orbit. So to go to the moon, you got to go in orbit, and you're in orbit around the Earth, and then you turn on the rocket again, and that takes you out of orbit. You escape the Earth's orbit, and you do it precisely with the precise amount of thrust and power and burn when you're on the right side of the Earth, so that you'll head to the moon and get caught by the moon's air. Too much? The moon's gravity doesn't capture you. Not enough? And you crash into the moon. And we figured all that out with slide rulers in the 1960s. And now all we can do is go up. Jeff Baldo's, he goes up and straight down. And Elon Musk launches a rocket and it explodes. And then he says that was a success. Our chip 8354XY was successful. It successfully detected that there was a fuel leak problem just before the rocket exploded. That was a success. So just because they can't do it now doesn't mean we didn't do it in the past. Okay? Just because when I get in the swimming pool now and I try and do 100 meters, it takes me a minute and a half now, doesn't mean that when I was 26 years old, I set the Ontario junior record and did 100 meters in less than 1 minute. Can't do it now. But I did it in the past. So let me know your conspiracy theory comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think is fake. And let's have some fun. I'll reply to your comments, and if you have some kind of entertaining ones, perhaps I will feature your comment and we'll have a little discussion on why you're so wrong. Or maybe you're right. You may be right. I may be crazy. But it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Turn out the light.